if you wanted to know the names of the 12 apostles, where would you look? There are actually three places in the Bible where we get this list. The first is Matthew 10, the second is Mark 3, and the third is Luke 6. And if we put these three accounts together, we can get a pretty good picture of what this event looked like. So one day Jesus goes up on a mountain, and when he gets up there, he starts praying. And this is serious prayer time because he prays all day and all night. So when morning comes, he calls his disciples to him. And so far in Jesus' ministry, he's been going around preaching and healing and telling stories and calling people to follow him. And these followers are called disciples or students of Jesus. But then, with all his followers up on the mountain, he starts calling out specific men by name: Peter, Andrew, James, John, Philip, Bartholomew, Matthew, Thomas, James, Thaddeus, Simon, and Judas. And I feel like if you're one of the disciples watching this happen, this might seem a little strange because your teacher is up there surrounded by some fishermen, a tax collector, a political radical, and maybe some other random dudes. And these guys, they just don't seem all that special until they are. Because Jesus calls them. And until Jesus calls them, they're just these, regular disciples, just normal people. But at that point, Jesus gives them something. He gives them authority. Authority to cast out demons, authority to heal the sick, authority to carry his message and to teach about the kingdom of God. And it's this last one that's really important because he doesn't call them the 12 exorcists or the 12 healers. He calls them the 12 apostles. Now, apostle doesn't mean much on its own to us. It's just a word we use for the 12 guys who follow Jesus, but apostle means messenger. The apostles are the 12 messengers of Jesus. But why did he pick them, like these specific people? Clearly this was a serious decision for Jesus because he spends a full day and a night in prayer. But what is he basing his choice on? We talk a lot about the apostles, being Jesus, like his friends. But I seriously doubt he chose his disciples based on who he liked hanging out with the most. I don't think this was a popularity contest. Let's be honest, if he was picking his closest friends, do you think that he had really picked Judas? And it's not like Peter is the easiest guy in the world to get along with either. Maybe these guys were fine one-on-one or in small groups, but remember, Matthew was a tax collector. He worked for Rome. Simon the Canaanian was also called Simon the Zealot, and zealots were scary. They were this seriously opposed to Rome, group of people, and they would even take violent action against Romans. Can you imagine having lunch with these two and just the constant political arguments? It would be exhausting. But Jesus picks, these guys to be his messengers. And I think he chose them for some quality or characteristics that we can't immediately see. But they must have served some purpose for Jesus' ministry because he chose them and started developing their abilities and their knowledge as they spent more time together. And because he was spending more time around them, they not only became friends with Jesus, but also probably became friends with one another. And that's pretty important because one of the major drivers of friendship is physical proximity, because that affects the time that we spend together. Simply put, we are friends with the people we see the most. Or the closer you are to someone, the closer you are to someone. So here Jesus is joining his spiritual purpose, preaching about the kingdom of God, to his social circle, the 12 men who would become his closest friends. Answer this: do you want to have friends? Do you want to have close relationships? Do you want people to like you? Okay. Do you want to know how to do that? Listen to this. Always be humble and gentle. Be patient with one another, making allowance for each other's faults because of your love. Therefore, encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing. Do everything without grumbling or arguing. Love one another. So what does this look like? Be humble. Spend less time talking about yourself and more time taking an active interest in others. If you want to be interesting, be interested. Ask others questions about themselves. Ask for their opinions. Ask for their advice. These things make people feel interesting and important, and people like those who make them feel interesting and important. Be gentle with one another. I know we all like to give each other a hard time, but go easy on it. If someone says or does something stupid, that's your opportunity to stand up for them rather than just roast them in front of everyone else. Be patient. Sometimes people are going to get on your nerves. They're going to be annoying, they're going to be boring, they might even be rude. First, it's not their job to entertain you. Second, if you're a Christian, it is your job to be patient. I'm not perfect, you're not perfect, so we can't expect others to be perfect either. So let's give others our attention, care, and respect, especially when it's hard to do that. Sometimes people are going to mess up and they're going to do wrong or get discouraged. And when that happens, encourage one another. If you think someone is having a hard time, remind them what's good about them. If they are doing wrong, remind them that they know what is right and that they can do what is right. And quit complaining and arguing. Because people who are positive and show gratitude are happier and better liked than people who complain. People who seek to make peace with others and help others to have a good relationship with the people around them are better liked than those who stir up gossip and arguments and fights. Love one another. Because it all comes down to love. As followers of Jesus, everything we do needs to be motivated by love for God and for others. If it's not, then it's not worth doing. Do we make decisions like Jesus? Do we spend serious amounts of time in prayer, talking to God, seeking His guidance? Or do we just do what feels right or what's easy? Like Jesus, we need to join our spiritual purpose, sharing the good news about Jesus, with our social circle, our closest friends. School's starting soon, so take some serious time in prayer and pray about the people that you're going to spend your time around. You're going to have some level of choice with those you hang out with. Ask God to guide you to spend time with the people who bring you closer to Him and people whom you can lead to Him. There will also be people you have no control whether or not you'll spend time with them. But here's what you do. Pray for them too. Ask God to help you better understand how they are created in His image just like you are, and that He cares for them so that you want to care for them too. Finally, ask God to help you to be a better friend to others. Thank God for the friends that you do have, but ask Him to help you be friends with others that you may have overlooked. Because when we do this, we look more like Jesus.